Hi guys. For those of you who are just arriving, welcome. It's just on 9 now, so I am going to kick off. There may be some more people joining us, but this is being recorded as well, so everyone will be sent the recording afterwards. So thanks for being here. My name is Kasia. I'll introduce myself properly in a second, but this morning I'm going to be talking to you about LinkedIn. So yeah, look forward to taking you on my LinkedIn journey and also, answering any questions that you may have along the way. So I like to make this as relevant and interactive as possible. So if you would like to, at any stage, unmute yourself or type a question into the chat box, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's get started. And yeah, welcome. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? Maybe just type me a yes in the chat box so I know that everything's all good. And yeah, I'll start sharing my screen again. Okay, so this morning we are talking about introduction to LinkedIn, and I'm just going to go to my next slide. So thanks very much to Business Station and the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solutions Program for making this presentation possible. And I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end, but if you'd like to learn more about it, you can visit their website, businessstation.com.au, and I can also share my link with you at the end if you'd like to, if you haven't already signed up for the program, you can get, 3 one-on-one sessions with an advisor such as myself for $44, and then the remainder of hours for workshops and webinars and so on. And we're just waiting to hear that hopefully the program will be extended past the end of this month, and that Business Station will have the contract again. So hopefully we'll get that great news any day now. But regardless, if you haven't signed up and you're thinking about it or know someone that would benefit, now is definitely the time. So yeah, any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me as well. So just to introduce myself, good morning, my name is Kasia McNaught. I have been training and coaching in the social media digital marketing space for quite a while now. I run my own business called McNaught Media, which is a branding and marketing agency in Perth. And I've also been working with Business Station for, I guess over 3 years now. And yeah, I've been on LinkedIn myself professionally, with a personal profile for, I actually should check that, but I'd say, almost as long as I've known that LinkedIn's around, so quite a while. And I found it very useful, as both a business owner and in the past when I was working for other companies. So share more about that as we go. Also a gym junkie, beach lover, and crazy cat lady. I'm on the board of Cat Haven WA, so if you're looking to adopt a cat, I'm your person. And I've just put my LinkedIn profile URL there. So please feel free to, add me. You can also search me by name on LinkedIn and find me. But yeah, I would love to be connected with you guys. May I just ask, I don't know if both of you are able to unmute yourself. We've got a couple of people on here. Could you either unmute yourself or raise your hand or just type yes or no in the chat box? Do both of you already have an active presence on LinkedIn? I think we have Jennifer and Josie on. Yes, one of you's raised your hand. Awesome. Okay. No. Okay, great. So one yes and one no. And can I just ask you, so I guess, Jennifer, do you have a personal profile as well as a company page or just a personal profile? Maybe you could type in the chat box to me just so I know. The reason I'm just asking is because yeah, so today I'm going to share, an old personal profile. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to share today, like how you can create a profile, update a profile that you've had for a long time. And then I'm also going to talk a bit about company pages at the end. So perfect. Great. Now that I know we're all good in the chat boxes, please feel free to ask anything as we go. All right. Excellent. So, I've given a lot of talks about LinkedIn and how you can use it as a personal branding tool. And I really like the way that LinkedIn has updated its platform, which I will be going over with you to add new features to really allow you to showcase, your talents and your point of difference. Hi there, had a couple of people just joining us. Welcome, just getting started. So I like to open with this, quote. Oops, sorry about that. Personal branding is less a marketing exercise than it is becoming the best person you can be. So I literally just also, jumped onto LinkedIn on my phone this morning before starting with you guys. And I just saw, they're constantly introducing new features. So one of the things that popped up, I don't know if you can see that, but it said host an audio event. So that's a brand new thing that they've just added on, which I've never seen before. So it says host live interactive conversations with people all over the world. Cool. Anyway, so that's just like a new thing. So I'm just going to first, I'm just going to go over what we're going to cover and show you some stats, and then I'll get into some actual examples and so on. So what I'm going to go over today is how to set up if you don't have one, and if you do, how to also optimize your LinkedIn personal profile so that you can stand out from the crowd. I'm also going to give you tips for growing your professional network the right way, ideas on what to post, and also how to set up a LinkedIn company page for success, if that's relevant for you and what you're planning to do with your business and branding. So some people may, what I mean by that is that some people may just need to have a personal profile depending on, what your goals are. Others may need to have a personal profile and a business page on LinkedIn. And just to answer your question, Josie, yes, good question. So this session is being recorded, so it will be shared with everybody who's registered afterwards. You can also jump onto the Business Station YouTube channel. If you just type Business Station YouTube, it will come up, and then the past sessions, including this one, once it's uploaded, will all be there so you can rewatch it. Cool. Great. So just to start with some data. So like, why use LinkedIn? So LinkedIn's just gone, up and up since, even over COVID. Most of the social platforms grew, but especially LinkedIn. So not only is it a great tool for, recruiting, if that's what you want to do, it's also amazing for building your professional network, as well as for search engine optimization. So what do I mean by that? So search engine optimization, if you're not familiar with it, means, getting found on search engines. So appearing on page 1 of Google is what everybody would ideally want for their brand. And you may now notice that if you Google an individual's name or a business name, one of the first things that's going to come up on the results of Google is usually going to be their LinkedIn profile or LinkedIn company page. So it helps with getting your personal, professional brand to stand up and get found more easily on search engines such as Google, which most people use Google. It's also really fantastic for, being able to grow your personal and professional brand, and also to establish yourself as an industry authority. So what I mean by that is, that to get known in your field and to get recognized by your people, by your followers, by your clients as a person of, authority, in that you know and share all of the valuable information that's going to help them with regards to your industry. So you can do that in a number of ways with LinkedIn, which I'll go over more, but yeah, really great for doing that. So just some numbers here, and these numbers always, are going up, but LinkedIn is by far the world's largest professional network. So it has over 774 million members in over 200 countries and territories around the world. And in Australia, we've got over 10 million registered LinkedIn users. And according to the data last time I checked, just over half of this number log in every month. And, just to sort of give some perspective on this platform and its power, 1 in every 3 professionals in the world is on LinkedIn, and 30 million companies across the globe are on LinkedIn. So I always think of LinkedIn as the professional version of Facebook. And, to be honest, I think it looks quite similar, even in terms of the interface and the company pages and the way that they've been updated remind me more and more of Facebook. But it's also very different to Facebook in its audience and, what you can achieve on here. So for instance, with Facebook, you don't have that power to be able to literally find individuals by name as the key decision makers of their company or industry and reach out to them directly. Not everyone is on Facebook with their full professional name, and it's not as easy to find them. You can't search for them like you can in LinkedIn by industry or company or so on. And yeah, so that's where the real power of LinkedIn comes in, especially with, business to business and making those connections. So just a few more stats. So yeah, if you haven't got the mobile version of LinkedIn, you can download the app, and you can also sign up by downloading the app if you haven't signed up yet. So yeah, it has over 63 million unique mobile visitors each month. And yeah, just a couple more things to give some perspective. So of its 660 million registered users, over 90 million are currently in senior level positions, and 63 million are actually the designated decision makers of their businesses, which goes back to what I was saying about, actually being able to reach out to these people. And it's not only small to medium businesses that love LinkedIn, it's also the most popular social media platform for Fortune 500 companies as well. And this is just a map, just to show you like how widespread and far LinkedIn can reach, which is really cool. So it's even it's actually even more than 10 million. It's 11 million plus registered in Australia now. So massive and growing. And then just a few more stats to wrap up, just to finish this section. So this is interesting as well. So more than half of all the social traffic that is going to business websites is coming from LinkedIn. So you can see that compared to Facebook and Twitter and even other sites such as maybe like Instagram or TikTok, 90% of the social traffic was driven by these big three networks, but half of it was coming from LinkedIn. So that's great. Okay, so I'm just going to share some tips now for actually setting up a LinkedIn profile and also optimizing your LinkedIn profile. So I know a few more people have joined us, but yeah, I'm just going to lower your hand, Jennifer, because I think you raised it before to ask me a question. So just so I don't keep thinking maybe you have a question, but if those of you who've joined more recently, you're welcome to ask any questions as we're going. And I was just asking before, who's got a profile or who's got a company page. And we had one person with an old profile and one that hasn't got a profile. So yeah, I'm just going to create this next section to be relevant to everyone. So just let me share. Actually, just bear with me. I'm just going to, before I share my presentation again, I'm just going to switch over to actually show you how you get to the profile section that I'm talking about now. So, okay. Okay, so you should now see my LinkedIn interface. Sorry, I'm just doing this so I can get control of it. So this is, I'm on the home page now. I've clicked home page of LinkedIn. So this is like our home feed. So it shows you, that's the shortcut to my profile on the left. And this is like showing us posts, kind of like pretty much exactly like a Facebook feed, either of people I'm connected with, pages I follow, or, it may be also ads. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on view profile. So yeah, so this is what my profile looks like live. So I might come back to it during the presentation just to show you relevant bits and pieces. And yeah, if you can hear very loud birds outside, it's just I feed these magpies and I think that they've actually come to demand their breakfast. So hopefully that's not too loud for you guys through the window. All right. So just first of all, if you haven't got a profile, you're welcome to take a screenshot of this page. So either you can download the phone app or you can head to the LinkedIn sign up page. And yeah, you'll just have to enter some details, first, last name, email address, and always recommend to use a very safe password, not the one that you use for everything else. If you're not using a password protection software, I definitely recommend using one such as LastPass, just because it helps you save unique passwords and also not have to remember them all. And yeah, it's just more important than ever just to keep your cybersecurity safe these days. So when you sign up for LinkedIn, yeah, the rules are that you have to use your actual name. So, like my name is Kasia McNaught. So don't use, like Kasia McNaught and then put McNaught Media, which is my company, as my last name. It can actually impair your visibility on the platform. So just use your actual name. And then you click join now and, complete any additional steps as prompted. So that's how you sign up. You can literally just Google LinkedIn, sign up, and it will come up for you. Now I'm going to share the fun stuff on how to optimize your profile. So this is a screenshot of my profile. So I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to go back to this and just show you what I'm actually showing you here. So sorry, my screen jumped a bit. So this is the profile that I've come to, and the screenshot that you're seeing is actually of the top section of this profile. So I'm going to be sharing tips on how you can optimize that. And then I'm going to be going through the different sections that you can see, on my profile here. So please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'll be going through these sections. So I just wanted to show you like what it looks like in life, as in live on the screen. And then I will talk about each section more. So I'm going to start by talking about this top section here. Okay, so I get bored with my photos and things, so I've changed it since then. But what I'm going to first talk about is your profile photo. So a few tips here. So choose a recent image. So especially I know I tend to change my hair a lot. You probably can notice there. I have very dark hair compared to now where I'm almost blonde. So I probably do need to do new photo shoots. But yeah, point being more so, if your profile picture should look like you. Hopefully it still looks like me. And this may sound obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people use images that don't actually look like them in reality with like a super intense filter, or maybe they just have really different hair or, something like that. Some of the things I've read say your face should take up 60% of your profile picture. Mine doesn't in this example, but I think it just needs to be very clear. And I would highly recommend investing in some, professional headshots that you can use not only for LinkedIn, but on your website or across all your social media and branding. And dress to impress. When I say dress to impress, you want to dress in your photo how you would dress for work. So I remember once when I was younger, I got headhunted by a corporate company, and I was at the time modeling some ball gowns for like a hobby. And then I had a photo in a ball gown, and I remember they hired me, but they were like, yeah, you shouldn't have a ball gown photo because that's not how you would, dress to go to work. And I was like, okay, true, good point. But, if you are in a creative industry or, which I am also now, you may have more range of what you'd like to wear. But, this is just an example of an actual one. So unless this dude's like working for a beer company, probably not the best one to have as your professional shot. You want to make sure that you can clearly see your face in the photo. You want to make sure the only person in the photo have a simple background and, smile or have the right expression that you want to convey your personal brand with. So I think, friendly and approachable is always good. But yeah, whatever's on brand. And I like this profile picture. I think she may have changed it, but that's Melanie Perkins from Perth, who actually is one of the founders of Canva, the free design software that I love using, and a lot of you may have used. So I think that's cool because she's like a creative, a graphic designer, and she's just quite sweet and natural, and I like that photo. So another thing is make sure your profile photo is always high resolution, well lit, at least 400 by 400 pixels. So that just means, it might look okay on mobile, but when it gets blown up onto a bigger screen, it might get blurry, especially if it's not high res. So any questions on that, let me know. Some of it's pretty obvious, but honestly, like giving some thought to your profile picture, and even if you want to keep it consistent across your platforms, is really worth doing. And as I said, if you can get some professional headshots done, even better. Welcome. I think someone's just joined us. We're just looking at optimizing our profiles. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is your background photo. So just to show you again on this live view, I've changed it since to as you can see here, this is a photo now. But if you don't, and I've changed my profile picture, I told you I get bored easily. But if you leave this blank, it won't have anything for your cover photo. So it's just a great opportunity to actually stand out more. So It's like your second visual engagement tool if you use this cover photo. I'm sorry, on my presentation, I've blown it up massively, so it's actually a bit blurry, but it's not like that on my LinkedIn profile. So yeah, you can really stand out by changing this cover photo. So the reason why I've used those colors there is that those are my company's brand colors. So it's like another tool to recognize my brand. I've also got, as you saw before, a current photo, which is one of my work branding photos with Sally, who works with me. So you can have something that relates to, you know, your work, your company, your branding, and it also can help the viewer get to know you a little bit more. Okay, your headline. So this is the bit that, I'm sorry I keep doing this, but I just want to show you everything in life as well. So that's your headline there, okay? That's your headline on the LinkedIn profile. This is probably my favorite tip that I'm sharing with you now. So this is important because it can actually help people find you on LinkedIn. So it's probably the most important piece of real estate on your LinkedIn profile. Now, if you don't go and actually update this and change it, what it will do is it will actually automatically just show your current position. Like, you know, for me, it would be creative director at McNaught Media, but you don't need to actually have that there, because if you scroll further down your LinkedIn profile, that's already all there on your experience section, and it's, you know, linked up. So this is where you can actually use a 120 character hook to help people find you on the LinkedIn search engine. So what I mean by that is if people are searching LinkedIn for these sorts of skills or specialties that I've got there, like social media strategist, Facebook ad specialist, digital marketing advisor, copywriter, that kind of thing, it will help them find me, and it has. So it should be about what you do as opposed to what you are. So some people like to be a little bit creative with their headlines, but I like to be practical in terms of, you know, how can it help people find me and what I do as is relevant to them. So since it's a highly searchable piece of real estate, do make sure you include valuable keywords like popular skills and expertise to help your people find you. And always make sure to think of the words that your target audience are likely to use. So, you know, if you're using very industry niche words, and this applies to every type of market, you know, communications and marketing that you do, always make sure that you're using the language that your target audience, your ideal customers would be using. Because if you're using very niche words that they wouldn't know because they're not in your industry, if that makes sense, it may not work in your favor. And of course, you know, never copy someone else's headline. You can also get creative. So, you know, you want to entice people to read more, not to bore them. Also, you know, if your profile and a whole bunch of other profiles come up in the search results when people are searching on LinkedIn, this is one thing that will also help you stand out to them. So, you know, make it memorable and enticing enough for someone to click on your profile rather than, you know, your competitors. And it can be more than a field to add your job titles. It can show people how you see your role, you know, what inspires you. And, you know, the headline can even be your life motto if you want to, but that's not really what I would usually recommend, but it depends on your strategy. So if you want to get some ideas, have a look at some people in your network, see the creative ways they're using their headline section. If they aren't, it may just show their, you know, job title, but I think it's a really good thing to look at. Does anyone have any questions on that? You're welcome to unmute yourself or type in the chat box, or yeah, just ask me anything. I'd love to answer you if you have any questions. Anyone? No? Okay. But yeah, honestly, please feel free to, because I like to make this relevant for you guys. So this is just an example of what we've just been talking about. So you can really see, I think, the difference here. You know, in this person's profile, I don't actually know them. I actually just found this example, but I think it's a good one. So, you know, they've actually updated their photo. You can see, you know, that's a much more clear, really professional, nice headshot there. That one's black and white and a bit blurry. You know, black and white might be your brand, but if so, make sure it's high quality. You can see this is exactly what I'm talking about here. So this is the position on their headline versus looking down here where they've actually optimize it, including the keywords so they can get found and people can understand how they can help. And the banner doesn't look massively different, but it's slightly different on the second one. But yeah, just to give you an example. And, you know, if you're wanting one-on-one help with your LinkedIn profile, I did mention at the start before some of you joined, if you're not already signed up for Business Station, or if you are and you haven't used your sessions, you can book, you know, you get up to 3 one-on-one sessions with an advisor such as myself for $44, and you can get one-on-one help from me on this, you know, helping you with LinkedIn. So next bit I'm going to talk about is your summary. So I'm just going to show you guys where that is exactly in the real view. And yeah, then I'll give you some tips. So this is kind of like your about section. Okay, so this is back to my LinkedIn profile. So what we've just talked about is this bit there. And this is another good section, by the way, open to, that they added fairly recently. So you can say, like, I'm putting that I'm open to contract work, like as in taking on more clients and providing services. So make sure to make the most of that. And yeah, I'll just come down to this about section. This is the featured section as well, which is also fairly new, where you can feature, you know, your recent posts, or yeah, if you click on the plus sign, you can add a post, newsletters, articles, links, media. I love that section. Activity. And then finally, what we're getting to is the about section there. So that's the section that I'm just talking about, which is your summary. So I just wanted to show you where it actually sits on the profile. And then I will come back to the actual, you just bear with me, actual slide. And I can see we have a question, which is great. Let me just see. So I'll just read the question before going to the summary section again. So I'll just read it out for anyone watching the recording after. I do have a weird question about marketing yourself. Should you be concerned about colleagues in your industry criticizing? Yeah, and that's a totally fair question. I think a lot of people would, you know, have the same fear come up. But to be honest, I think the last people you should worry about are those in your industry, as in, like, you're trying to, you know, put yourself out there and market to your ideal audience or clients that you want to work with and help. So it's like, you know, I think if you can, you know, not worry about what others in your industry think, because yeah, there's enough for everyone. And like, I think when you see, for example, on social media, a perfect example of this is like personal trainers on Instagram. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad that resonates, but it's so true. Like, for example, you see personal trainers, I follow them because I'm into my fitness, like on Instagram. And if they're just like showing their workouts and like, you know, really next level things that they're doing, it's like they're just trying to, you know, impress other personal trainers. And it's like, well, how's that going to really help your clients? Because your clients probably will feel intimidated and just actually want what's relatable and helpful to them. So yeah, totally don't worry. And, you know, obviously when you put yourself out there online, you have to work on, you know, these fears of, you know, criticism. But the thing is really, like, you will resonate with the people who are right for you and with the kind of clients that you want to work with. And, you know, don't worry about the rest, because really they're not your people, you know. And the number one thing they say in marketing is, if you try to appeal to everybody, you're going to appeal to nobody. And that's so true. So everybody has a particular style and a, you know, person that they resonate with, you know, personalities. So you want to really just, you're actually doing yourself a favor if you know, get the wrong ones out the way and just make room to really just appeal to the right ones that'll matter. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I'll go to the summary section. So for those of you, I know there's a couple who haven't updated your LinkedIn in a while. This is something that you should have a look at again for sure. So this is, as you saw just now in my profile, it was actually, I should have pointed that out, but it was actually just above your experience section, which is your actual like resume-like section. So what you should focus on in your summary is more about your story. So don't worry about simply listing your skills here. There's literally at the end of your LinkedIn profile a section where you can add up to 50 skills, and you can have all your jobs listed on experience. Tell people like why your skills and experiences matter. You know, let them know how your skills can help and impact the people you work with. And you can spend a bit of time on this. So, your summary is a personal section of your LinkedIn page. So you can give it the time it deserves. It's like your little story, So if you haven't revisited it in a while, I'd say definitely revisit it every few months at least, just to make sure it's relevant. Just going to read out another question. So I hope you guys don't mind. I like to break it up with questions as we go. So would you surround yourself with people who may not be necessarily advancing you in your business just for the sake of having followers? So that's a good question. I would say probably not, as in like, don't just have followers or people for the sake of followers. So yeah, we all would like to have a lot of followers and high engagement on social media in terms of like being seen and our content getting out there and reaching people. But it's also in a way better to have, like 1,000 relevant followers who are likely to become your customers, or even 500 or even 100, than to have 10,000 who are just, unrelated to anything that you offer and not ever going to be interested. Because then your engagement levels, as in people interacting and commenting and sharing and actually, inquiring with you, are not going to actually benefit from that. So I think definitely focus on quality, not quantity as well. I have got a quote about that in here as well. So hopefully that helps. This is another cool tip. And what it does is that if you set up a LinkedIn profile, what it means is that your URL will usually have some random numbers at the end. So it would be like www.linkedin.com and then like my name, Kasia McNaught, 12345, I don't know. But what you can do is you can actually edit your URL to tidy it up. So it just looks nicer, it's easier, it's more shareable. So I've done this with mine. And if you can get your full name without anything else, that's great. But if you have a name that's already been used, just maybe use an initial or, that kind of thing. So I'll show you on your, I think, have I got it on here? Yeah, so this is the steps that you can follow to change your URL. It's on the top right-hand side when you're on your LinkedIn profile. I can show you just now. But yeah, you can see there, that's how I've changed mine there. So just bear in mind when you change this, if you have got links to your LinkedIn profile anywhere, it will change it. So you'll need to update it. Yeah, but I really like this tip. It's just, one way to like optimize your profile being found. Okay, and then this section I just showed you briefly before, the featured section. So I really like this because this is a screenshot of what you can do with it. You can feature posts that you've shared on LinkedIn. You can feature articles that you've published on LinkedIn, links to web content, and you can even upload photos, documents, presentations. So this is a great way of really like standing out, with media, anything that you've been doing, working on, etc. Anything that's media rich online, in other words, like photos, videos, etc., will always, get more eye views than simply, text alone. So if you can add to this, that's great. And you can regularly update this, which I do, in terms of like making sure the ones that are featured first are the most relevant that you want to have seen, if that makes sense. And another tip here, which is a really good one, ask for recommendations. So if you can get people to write recommendations for you and also write some for people on LinkedIn, that will be very helpful when other people are coming to your profile. I'll just show you as well where that sits. So just to go over that, if you just bear with me. Okay, so bring back to share screen. So this is what we're just talking about. This is the about section. So on that summary section, I even talk a bit about, that I grew up and moved from South Africa, that kind of thing. Like I love working with animals, work with Cat Haven WA. Yeah, so I'm always way better at writing about other people than myself. So I'm sure I could write a way better one for all of you, but it is what it is. Anyway, and then this is the experience section. So this is like our resume section. Now, if you like making a new profile and you like, how far do I go back? Some people say like you don't need to go back more than 10 years, like kind of like a resume. But I would say, you know, in terms of the positions you've held, I've obviously got quite a few on there, but I've been on the platform for a long time. How far back do mine go? Yeah, 2008. I think whatever's relevant to what you're doing now and what you want to do, you know, you can go back a bit further if needed. Education, licenses, volunteering, skills. So make sure you add the maximum number of skills so that people can find you. And then this is the recommendations that I was just showing you guys. So these are the ones, so show all 6 received. I should probably ask for more and give more, but it just looks really great to see, you know, people actually have taken the effort to write these. And, you know, it's because they've worked with you or, you know, you've worked with them, whatever it is, and then given. So these are the ones I've given. Yeah, so definitely make sure that you maybe even set yourself a goal, you know, I don't know, like get a new one each month or something. If I'd done that, I'd have hundreds by now. So yeah, that's what I just wanted to show you with recommendations. Let me just go back. Any questions, feel free to ask. Okay. So I'm just going to share a few things here. So why should we keep our profiles up to date? So current profiles attract more attention on, you know, in general, and it also helps you gain credibility. So what it means, you know, is like when I showed you my profile, I'm not sure if you noticed, but as I was scrolling down at the top, it has an activity section. So it shows all of my activity of like, I've shared someone's post, I've commented, I've done this, I've done that. So, you know, if you're actually active and keeping it up to date, it helps people trust you. It'll help you grow your network, and will also help with, you know, establishing yourself as a thought leader in your industry. I'm just going to read out this question about recommendations. Would you help people write a recommendation if it's harder for people to find the time to write? Yeah, that's a really good question. So also some people are just not, you know, like they don't enjoy writing, or they don't know what to say. It's not their thing. So yeah, you could totally, you know, give them some dot points or say, you know, if you could please mention, you know, that we work together, or that I, you know, did XYZ project for you and helped you with these things, and that you found it helpful. Definitely, that's, you know, something you can do, because some people are happy to write, but others, you know, get a bit stuck. So yeah. The other thing with the recommendations is that when you receive one, or when somebody else receives one, it comes through to your inbox, so that you have to approve it to show on your profile first. So there is actually the ability to ask for a revision if, say, for instance, you know, they've mentioned the detail incorrectly or something. So yeah, I think that's another good thing to be aware of. Okay, and then just a few things here. I'm aware that you know, time is flying, but I will get through it and answer your questions. It's all good. Adding new connections on LinkedIn. So there's a few ways that you can do it. So, you know, once you're, you know, active again on LinkedIn, or start up your LinkedIn profile, if you add a few people, you know, LinkedIn will start to suggest other people that you may know that, you know, are also connected to those people. So another thing is, if you want to, you can sync your email address with LinkedIn so that it will make suggestions as to who you can connect with. It even as cheeky as ask, LinkedIn will be like, oh, we can send invites to those in your email list, not on LinkedIn. I don't do that because I don't want to spam people, but I'm happy to connect with those that are already on there. You know, if you meet someone in person or at a networking event, sometimes nowadays you don't have cards, or you might forget your cards. Another great thing is to, you know, connect with them on LinkedIn afterwards. And when you do connect with someone, always, you know, send them a message with your connection request, because then it is a lot more personal and doesn't seem so random. Okay, I'm not going to take a break because I go faster when we're online. Does anyone have any questions on the profiles before I talk about company pages, what they are, and then also some ideas for what to share with content on LinkedIn for both profiles and pages? Anyone have a question they'd like to ask now? Thanks for your questions so far. They've all been good. You may come up with one as we go. All right, well, I will keep going then, but feel free to ask as we go. So company pages. So your LinkedIn page can be the perfect place to build brand awareness, establish your company again as a thought leader, engage your employees because it will show that they're working there if they're on LinkedIn, and have it optimized, and prospects, publish and share content, and drive high quality leads. So this is where you can go to set up your company page. And I can also show you on the actual page itself. So let's just have a look here. A few best practices. So this is from LinkedIn. So you want to complete your company page and fill it all out. So pages with complete information get 30% more weekly views. You want to make sure, it's in line with your other pages and profiles. So have your logo, overview, add all of your info, and make sure it's complete. So you make sure you fill out all the sections. So I'm just going to also answer another question. Would you add some personal items, family, etc., non-professional? I think you mean for content sharing. Yes, like as people like to do business with people, the human connection. Yeah, I definitely think so. And I'll share some content ideas as we're going. I definitely think humanizing your brand is very important. Like as in, people, as you just said, want to connect with people. And I personally would be more, I think I share more personal things on Instagram, Facebook than I do on LinkedIn. But I do also find that when I do share something on LinkedIn that is a bit personal, as long as it's like relevant and on brand, it always does really well. So yeah, I think the best post I ever had on LinkedIn in terms of people responding to it was when I just had a photo of me holding my cat. And it was because I was posting that I got onto the board of Cat Haven, WA. But, having that photo like that and, just being a bit like personal, that did really well. So, yeah, you have to, of course, feel comfortable with it as well. But, yeah, and it depends on what your, business and brand is about. But totally suggest that for sure. So posting on your company page, I'm just going to share a few things. So companies that post at least weekly see double a lift in their engagement with their content. So another thing is to maximize your engagement and reach. You can share posts from your company page to your personal profile. This applies to both your personal and professional pages. So having a consistent presence by posting regularly is key to building trust and growing your community. Always include an image or some type of rich media, image, video in your posts. Images generally get 2 times higher comment rate, and LinkedIn video is 5 times more likely than any other content to share, to start a conversation. Okay, I'm also going to share some content ideas and tips with you. So does anyone have a question on company pages at all specifically? If not, I can keep going and I'll have some time at the end for some questions. Okay, so, whoops, sorry, I just jumped to the previous one. So content ideas and tips. So these are some ideas that you can use for your personal profile and your company page. So publish LinkedIn articles. So as far as the algorithm goes, native posts, meaning that they're published within the platform, not like posting a link to another, site, make articles a really great opportunity. They've also recently introduced newsletters onto LinkedIn. And long form content is meant to get the most shares. So if you have between 1,700, oops, sorry, I jumped again. Sorry, guys. 1,700 and 2,100 words, that's meant to be the best for, content. But obviously it has to feel natural as well. How to and list posts perform the best. So, like listicle posts, like 5 ways to get rid of social media overwhelm in your business. So when creating content with LinkedIn views in mind, focus on how to post list style posts. Some people say steer clear of question posts, but you can try and see what works better with your audience. And this is a random thing that I found, that LinkedIn articles with exactly 8 images in them, which is a lot, far outperform the rest. Question I'm going to read out. So, okay. Could the company post be a bit less than your personal posts, as both will try to drive sales from the same source? Yeah, so I do tend to post more on my personal LinkedIn profile than my company page profile. And I sometimes will share posts from my company page to my personal profile. So yeah, you can figure out the balance with it, but yeah, you don't have to, post on them exactly the same. I tend to post a bit more on my personal one. Now, this is a really cool idea of different topics. It's from a course that I've been doing called Business Blueprints. So I can't claim it as my own IP, but I still wanted to share it because it just shows you like so many ideas so that you can never run out of topics for LinkedIn. So feel free to take a screenshot. For example, this is showing you could ask something on a Monday, like ask people what made them start a business. You could tell something on a Tuesday, like, talk about a breakthrough that you've had in business. You could share something on a Wednesday, like, share a helpful resource or strategy. You could give something on a Thursday, like a tool, resource, or training that has helped you. And you can show something on a Friday, like, something you're reading, learning, or watching. So you can actually even, use this on your other social platforms potentially. Doesn't have to just be LinkedIn, but if you like to have a plan that you can sort of come back to, then this could be a good thing to, to refer to. Sorry about that. I just have to move my controller out the way. Okay. And I talk about this 80-20 rule when I'm doing Instagram as well. So it's like 80% of the time when you're creating and sharing content, you want to inform, inspire, and entertain your audience. And then, like 20% of the time, sorry about this control, I'm just moving it again. You want to talk solely about your products or services. So the other thing is that it's not as much of a thing, I don't think, with hashtags as it is on Instagram, where I talk a lot about using hashtags, but you want to use hashtags on LinkedIn because hashtags are like Google keywords of LinkedIn. So they're topics. So they'll help people find your posts and content. So before adding them to your posts, make sure you're using the hashtags that suit your profile or your page and the interests of your desired audience. And of course, the post that you're posting about, the topic you're posting about. And this actually is a very good quote that relates to one of the questions from before. So it's from Gary Vee. So it's not how many followers you have, it's how many care. It's not width, it's depth. And it's not how many impressions you get, it's how much attention you get. So yeah, especially if you're starting out on social media, don't get too focused on the numbers alone. Otherwise, it might become a little bit discouraging for you. And you do really want to have your quality over quantity. So another resource that I like to share is it's called LinkedIn Learning. So they have so many different modules. This became super popular, especially since COVID. It's not only like about LinkedIn, you can learn all sorts of topics there. So, if this is something that you might be interested in, I do believe it's like on the paid version of LinkedIn, but you can get a trial and check it out. Yeah, this is just a little bit of LinkedIn humor. So, some people really go like overboard with trying to impress on LinkedIn. And I always am like, just be authentic and real, don't just try and be impressive. So yeah, this is just some silly LinkedIn humor, but some people just like to, put it out there, but I like to practice what I preach, if that makes sense. Okay. It's a bit awkward showing those in a webinar, by the way, because like in real life, people might laugh and I can hear them laugh, but when I'm doing it online, I'm like, I don't even know if you guys find that funny at all. So anyway, I'm not sure. Okay, awesome. I'm glad. I'm not sure if any of you, all of you, or some of you already signed up for Business Station, but if you aren't, or if you're thinking about it, I'm glad. Thanks for the laughing faces, guys. I'm always like, I don't know if I should even show that slide. So 7 hours for $44, and you can get 3 one-on-one sessions with an advisor such as myself, and then the rest is like workshops and webinars like this. So you probably maybe signed up, that's why you found this webinar. But if you haven't used your sessions yet, or you have another person or ABN that you want to sign up with, let me know. I can share my link with you where you get the first session with me. And we're waiting to hear, like I said at the start, hopefully the program will be extended, but with Business Station, but hopefully we'll know, because at this point it's like we don't know what's happening past the end of March. But yes, just a quick question here. So as part of those sessions, could we ask you maybe to help us write up content for LinkedIn? And yes, show you link. Yeah, so definitely. So like in the sessions, I can help you work on whatever it is. I'm just going to stop sharing and get my link for you guys. So pretty much we can definitely work on like ideas and help you with how you can write your LinkedIn content. Yeah, pretty much. I also help a lot with like Instagram, Facebook ads, email marketing, content ideas. Yeah, I am strong with copywriting. Yeah, totally could brainstorm ideas and help you with the about section for sure. Sometimes it is easier to get someone else to help with that. I've just put my LinkedIn, I've just put the link in there for you guys, you can sign up for Business Station. If you already signed up and you want to book a session with me, you can search me by name on when you're booking your appointment through the portal. So we've still got a few minutes, guys. So if anyone has some questions, now would be the time. I'll just also share the slide that's got my contact details, Business Station. But yeah, now would be great time for questions. Otherwise, I can show you a few more things on the actual live version of LinkedIn. So, but yeah, totally, like you can even just ask me a question that relates to you and your LinkedIn journey. So we've got just under 10 minutes. I like to leave some time. So now would be fine. If anyone wants to even unmute themselves and ask a question, go for it. Otherwise, I will show you a few more things on LinkedIn. So up to you guys. Any questions? Have a sip of water just while you decide. Love to see more things. Okay, cool. Great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to LinkedIn and just show you guys around a bit because it changes so much. So just going to show you around and just say, yeah, all right, perfect. A few things that could be useful. So here we are. I'm on the homepage of LinkedIn, right? So getting some insights here. So one thing that's pretty cool, if any of you do workshops, events, or anything like that, definitely making use of these LinkedIn events is definitely what I would recommend, because you can host online or in-person events. You can see here, these are like the followed hashtags I follow, so topics that I follow. So, make sure you follow topics that are useful so that you can see those, posts coming into your feed that you may want to share. Now, my network, if I click on my network, you can see someone here has invited me to subscribe to their newsletter. So that's one of the newer features I mentioned. And you can see down here, it's like suggesting, people I may know and also people I can follow, for example. So yeah, you can go through there. Another thing as well is they have groups on LinkedIn. So these are all the groups I'm in. I'm not super active in groups on LinkedIn, to be honest. Like I'm more active in Facebook groups, but it could be relevant. So, worth having a think if it's relevant to you. Now, also, when I want to write a post here, you can also, instead of writing a post, write an article. And that was that feature that I mentioned. So you can choose to publish it as your personal profile or as your page. And then, yeah, if I scroll down, it's going to just show us a combination of things, including ads, people I follow, topics I'm interested in, and so on. Now, my network, we've looked at jobs. So if you're posting jobs or looking for work, you can post them on LinkedIn here for free, which is good. And you create job searches that are relevant for you. Messaging here. So these are like, when you see these ones saying in mail, it's because people are paying to send me this message. I'm not connected to them. So they usually maybe trying to sell something, but others, are messaging me about potential work opportunities and so on. Notifications. So this is going to show you anything that might be relevant that LinkedIn's alerting me to. One thing that you may want to do is, especially if you're new to LinkedIn, is make sure you don't get emailed too many notifications. You can turn that off in your notification settings because, otherwise it gets a bit annoying in my opinion. And then when I come view profile, this is what we were looking at before together. I've got creator mode on. So that's why it shows talks about these topics. And it just means you get more access to creator tools like going live with video and so on. So if you're, into creating a lot of content and would like to, probably should have a look at that. And this is our featured section we mentioned. So I can actually edit it and move around the order of things, if that makes sense, or remove certain things from featured. And then that was what I mentioned, the activity. So it's showing you guys, my activity. All good if you have to go. You're so welcome. And yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. About section, which we covered, experience section, which is our resume, education. And I've gone through this with the skills and recommendations. But what I did want to also show you is when I come to me, this is where I can get to my pages. So I'm going to go to my page. If you do have a page, or if you are setting up a page, this is a really cool thing. So you can run ads, like paid ads, when you have a page. However, you can actually get these free credits, like 250 each month, where you can invite people to follow your page. So I'm just choosing, I've got 8 left because I've already used them this month because I was onto it. So I would definitely do that because that's going to help people follow your page and grow your followers. And yeah, another thing is you can see I've posted a video here on my page. This was actually, just to give you an example, this was a reel that I created for Instagram, but I also uploaded it to LinkedIn as a video. So I'm a big one on, repurposing content so that you don't have to always create separate new content for every platform, if that makes sense. And you can also see your insights for your page, your analytics, events, you can create from your page, hashtags that are relevant to your page, and if you want to even start a newsletter. So if you view my page as a member, just to show you, this is going to show you what it looks like to someone, from the public who's not an admin of the page. And you can also feature page posts on that featured section. Okay, I'm just going to read this question out. Josie, did you use specific software that shows the text to reflect what you're saying? As in when I'm writing and creating content, in my video, sorry, of course. So to answer your question, in the video, I was doing a talk for City of Coburn, and my partner, you're asking about the captions. He filmed it for me. Yeah. So what I did was I actually uploaded it to Instagram and I added captions on Instagram. But if you want another one that you can use on your phone, you can use one called, I also use this one to add the subtitles, the captions, CapCut. And I'm on the free version of that. And yeah, it's really quite good. And it also helps with reels and everything. So, just on that, I'll wrap up in a couple of minutes, guys, but 67% of people are watching videos online without their sound on. So if you can have the captions or subtitles on there, that's really good. And just a tip as well, if you're posting them for your reels, just on Instagram or Facebook, make sure the text is in the middle so it doesn't get cut off. So, yeah. Okay, guys, well, I'm about to wrap up. Just if anyone has a last question, you're welcome to ask. But thanks very much for being here this morning, and I hope you got something useful from today. Please add me on LinkedIn as well. Always keen to connect with everyone and see how you're doing. And does anyone have any other last questions at all? Yeah, oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad you found it useful. And just don't be afraid to, start your LinkedIn journey and just keep building on it. I think it's a great platform for everyone to be on. So you may, as I mentioned at the start, you may need a company page as well, or you may need just a personal profile. But I think, yeah, depending on who your audience is, you can decide that, if that makes sense. So great. All right, well, thanks everyone. I should have some more webinars being announced depending on what's happening with Business Station. So watch the space. You can also follow my Facebook page, McNaught Media, where I'll list the events, including all the webinars and workshops I'm doing with Business Station. So yeah, if you're on Facebook, please follow me on there. I'll give you the link to the Facebook page as well, just before I log off now and let you all go. You're very welcome, guys. Okay, just getting this link for you. All right, it's in there. Thanks again. Have a lovely day, everyone. And yeah, if you want to save any of the links I've sent you, you're very welcome. Please do, because they'll disappear from the chat box when I end this in a couple of minutes. So thanks again. Have a lovely day and speak to you soon. Okay, bye.